So now I present a longer video about who are we humans and can we be immortal or not. So it depends on you. I believe that we can live at least 1,000 years, and it will be easy, relatively easy, I mean affordable, not only for very rich people. So as always, I recommend you to download the presentation as PDF file from the link in the description, and you can get access to the links and the source of information, and you can make your own research. As always, mind that I am a doctor of science, not a medical doctor, and my recommendations, my conclusions and findings are not supposed to be used as medical advice. And so I do this research for myself, mostly for myself, because I want to see all these changes and to see the new civilization which appears. And I will make few more videos about my motivation and why we are in very interesting times. So let's go. Evolution theory was proposed by Charles Darwin in 1859. Despite this, the fossil record of his time presented facts that his theory could not explain. He anticipated that future fossil recoveries would provide more evidence for transitional species that his theory predicted. I would remind you that you can click on evolution theory, and this is a theory that life spontaneously evolved from single cell, or actually single cell first appeared from nothing, from no life, and then single cell, and then from single cell somehow life developed to multi-cell organism, etc., and eventually to humans, which is absolutely not based on any scientific facts. Okay, let's go. However, despite 150 plus years of paleontological research, the predicted transitional fossil remain absent from the record. The one frequently cited example is Cambrian explosion approximately 540 million years ago, during which numerous complex animal body forms appeared in the fossil record over a relatively short geological time frame with no tracing of the transitional species. Critics argue that this rapid appearance of diverse complex organisms lacks the transitional forms that standard evolutionary theory would predict, and therefore evolution theory cannot explain also the origin of humans. This is again was very interesting times, Cambrian explosion, and there was some very strange living organism appeared from nothing, from like a miracle. And this is just few pictures presenting that very strange world. And also, pardon me, and this is a horse shore crab, which I saw with my eyes in Thailand. There are at some islands you can find this shore horse crab. They yet exist, despite they appeared 540 million years ago. Critics argue that modern discoveries of DNA present challenges to the theory of evolution, so you can go to and read it more. Some scientists propose the evolutionary mechanism may not explain the origin of new species or biological systems, or so-called macroevolution. Intelligent design theories have been proposed, arguing that fine-tuning of physical constants in the universe, which are necessary for life to exist, is evidence of intelligent design. Again, more and more as we go deeper in science, more and more evidence that our universe was created in purpose. So it is all was designed to support life, and especially to support humans. So humans have a purpose in this universe. There are no aliens. Again, we don't see this so-called Fermi paradox, that if life is common and if it develops itself from nothing, then we should have many alien forms on other planets. But while life can appear in very different forms, I believe so, but the intelligent life, the intelligent beings were created only on our planet, and we have a purpose. We have a purpose to spread through all visible universe and to populate the all visible universe and spread sustainable life. This is my belief as a scientist. So scientists also argue that DNA, cellular machinery, and multicellular organisms are too complex to appear by chance or natural selection. Intelligent design theory is often considered as a way to introduce religious ideas to science and education, leading to atheistic academia, support this evolution theory based on materialistic paradigm. Again, I'm a scientist. I'm doctor of science in physics and mathematics, and I worked with the most brilliant scientists, theoreticians in physics. And I would tell you, there were no atheists, no materialists among them. No. They were deists. Deist means they were considering existence of some consciousness, of some intelligence behind the universe, and some of them were Christians. Again, I'm devout Christians also, so it explains a lot. Quantum physics explains the Bible and explains all our purpose and everything. It helps a lot to understand what we are living for and what is our purpose. And we are incredible beings, and we can live. I believe this is my project: is to convince people to live forever, to have eternal life. Not only eternal life after death, but eternal life in our physical body, and it is possible. Okay, let's go. So again, as I said, bacterial, so some mechanism like in single cell bacteria, they cannot appear by evolution, just impossible. So complicated mechanism that they just cannot. The DNA also, it is the binary, the digital code which codes proteins and some amino acids and codes some fatty acids also. They just mathematically, they cannot appear from nothing. We always see some intelligent design behind all these scientific facts. This is my opinion, but again, there are some atheists, and unfortunately, atheism and materialism dominates in official science, and it is again it was never confirmed by science. It was never confirmed by scientific experiments. Never. Materialism is absolutely groundless theory. It is old, end of the 19th century, and all the findings of quantum physics and elementary particle physics, which are, in the second half of the 20th century, they present evidence of intelligent design and present evidence that we are so special, that we are not biological machines, we are not robots. We are special beings, and we are united with all the universe, actually. Okay, I will talk about this in next presentation in more details. Until 2003, when the sequencing of human genome was completed, evolutionary theory proposed that humans and other primates share a common ancestor. This means that humans and primates all naturally evolved from a single, now extinct ancestral species approximately 6 to 8 million years ago. Yeah, when I was a student in 90s, in 80s actually, in 80s this was dominating viewpoint, and our teachers were talking and teaching us in terms of evolution, but now it is again more and more evident that humans and all the life was created in purpose, and behind of this the universe intelligent design and some consciousness, personal consciousness, which Christians describe as God. Okay, from this ancestor, different lineages evolved, leading to the diversity of primate species we see today, including humans. Contrary to many evolutionary paleoanthropologists' claims, the fragmented hominid fossil record does not show that humans gradually evolved from hominids by the difference in chromosome. And again, we have 46 chromosomes, other hominids have 48 chromosomes, and also we have unique intellectual, moral, and creative capabilities that cannot evolve gradually. Okay, this is how evolution presents our appearance, and again, it is just different biological species. That's all. That's all. We have nothing common with primates. Or we have something, but we have common things with all living beings. We use the same proteins, and the life is based on the use of proteins. So it is. We have much common in the design of our body, but yet we are very special. We cannot appear by gradual evolution. The chromosome fusion theory suggests that human chromosome 2 was created through an end-to-end fusion of two small ape chromosomes 2A and 2B about 4.5 million years ago. You can read the publication. And human chromosome 2 is the second largest chromosome and accounts for almost 8% of total DNA in human cells. This fusion theory explains the smaller number of chromosomes. So this, they say, two chromosomes in apes, this fused to one, and then we have 46 chromosomes. So, okay, so it is actually chromosome 2. It is in the cell. It is doubled. So we have 23 in gametes, in egg and spermatozoid. We have gametes. We have 23 chromosomes, but in total we have 46, and apes have 48 chromosomes. Okay, this fusion theory explains that the smaller number of chromosomes in humans. However, scientific evidence suggests that this fusion never occurred. So fusion happens in nature sometimes, but the fused chromosomes have specific features such as two active centromeres and fused telomere sites, and cells with such chromosomes would be dysfunctional. So you have to go to little bit deeper to molecular biology and cellular biology to understand how these chromosomes work. But again, it is quite clear that it cannot be done just by evolution or by mutations. It is absolute nonsense. So evolutionary theorists suggest that since two branches of the evolutionary tree diverge from their common ancestor, it can so always the branches appear, and then difference between them increases over time. But again, it is not confirmed by DNA sequencing. It is okay. This is how this presented fusion presented two chromosomes of chimpanzee cut and fused together to produce one chromosome. Chromosome 2 in humans, but we have these sites which are centromeres, and at this slide it is even better to show how the chromosome should be broken and then fused together, and we have two centromeres, and also we have telomeres in the area of fusion. And again, this is absolute nonsense. I believe that again. So such chromosomes cannot function in the cell. Such cells with such chromosomes cannot exist, cannot function. Okay, this is how this evolution theory presents tree of life, that somehow spontaneously life appeared from nothing, and first as single cell organism, then this single cell organism developed to multi-cell organism, and then a new species appeared somehow spontaneously due to evolution and survival of the fittest. But again, it is, if we will see the records, we will not find this this gradual appearance of the species. Science has traced evolution of Neanderthals as biological species for about 500,000 years, while Cro-Magnon people mysteriously appeared about 45-50,000 years ago. Again, this time is not exactly perfect because it is again can be not precise. But yet again, the fact is the Cro-Magnon people appeared from nothing, and they are so much different from Neanderthals that you cannot trace that evolution of Neanderthals to Cro-Magnon people. It's just impossible. Not to mention that Cro-Magnons have 46 chromosomes and Neanderthals have the same 48 chromosomes as primates. Okay, so in comparison to Cro-Magnon people, Neanderthals had broader features, larger eyes, prominent brow ridges, and larger teeth. The Neanderthals' daily diet was nearly 2 kilos of meat. They were very successful hunters. They were hunting some smaller animals at night. They had very big eyes, and like cats, were possible to. They were able to see in darkness and at night, and and also the diet of them was quite similar to large predators like tigers and the lions and the big cats. So they consumed a lot of meat. Also, the primates' menstruation cycle lasts about a year. As a consequence, the period of sexual desire, estrus, in females occurs only once a year. It is usual for primates to live in harems, which are groups of 10 to 30 females led by alpha male. So imagine this is quite normal among primates, among the big apes, to live in harems. In contrast to primates, women, humans, have their periods every 4 weeks, and sexual desire or arousal might occur multiple times a day. They don't have estrus. They have this sexual desire, but any time of the day, no problem. Therefore, Cro-Magnon people live mostly monogamous families in tribe-like groups of up to 100 persons, and had a highly evolved social system involving trade arts and some sophisticated rituals. Again, this you may say it is mutation that this estrus disappeared, and as estrus disappeared, one man can stay with one woman and live in monogamous monogamous family and raise kids, and then they can cooperate because now there is no need to fight other males to get the harem. Yeah, but unless you are Muslim and you can have 4 female and other men have no access to women, and the only way to get sex for them it is to conquer other tribes, conquer all the other nations, and get sex slaves from other nations, what is happening right now. So some Muslims have 4 wives, they're coming to Europe, they don't work, they stay on social support, and they have up to 15, 16 kids, and they don't work, but then quite big number of these Muslims immigrant have no family, and they rape local women, local girls, because they consider them as sexual slaves. Muslims consider themselves much above local population, much. They consider themselves like superhumans, and the rest is just like animals. I don't know. It's for them it is Untermensch. They're not humans actually. So please mind that again. The difference in culture is so big, and then Muslims are more related to these Neanderthals, I would say, and they're also very aggressive. No, again, you have to. I will go in more details in next presentations, but again, this is a very big difference between cultures, and I will talk about Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity in next videos, and about motivation of humans to live longer. Okay, let's go. But what we can see from records, Cro-Magnon people were very tall, more than 7 foot tall, a lot, and they were beautiful. I mean, this 7 foot men now it is almost nobody. Only in Maasai people you can find a big number of people who are very tall, about 7 foot. The modern humans, modern men, is about 5 foot 8 inch tall. Me included, I am 5 inch, maybe 5 foot 10 inch tall. But again, I would be much taller if I would consume more meat in my childhood. Unfortunately, I was born in Soviet Union. In Soviet Union, was disaster in terms of food. Food was not available. People were starving or eating, mostly relied on potato to grow themselves potato, some vegetables, and so food was not available. And this is why I am not so tall as I can be. Neanderthals were even shorter, but very much stronger, like gorilla, like much stronger. So you know, gorilla can push 300 kilo weight very easy, and the average human cannot manage with 100 kilo weight. So gorillas are very strong, and the Neanderthals were quite like gorillas, but in difference to gorillas, they relied on meat. Gorillas rely on vegetable food. Vegetables, eat a lot of vegetables, but Neanderthals relied on meat from small animals. Cro-Magnons were different. Okay, the Cro-Magnons were much sophisticated, a big brain. Okay, you can see here the skull of the Neanderthals is such that size of the brain of the Neanderthals was a little bit even bigger than Cro-Magnons, but this was in areas that are responsible for vision. Because eyes were very big of Neanderthals, they have to see in darkness, they have to operate in darkness. And then much of the brain was to work with vision. Humans develop mostly such area here, which is responsible for intellectual abilities. So differences in appearance, social organization, sexual biology, genetic code suggest that Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons were distinct biological species. Neanderthals and Denisovans were not so many records of Denisovans, but there was some evidence that Denisovans were probably the same as Neanderthals, a little bit different, but the same biological species probably. They went extinct about 40,000 years ago, probably because they were unable to compete for food resources with Cro-Magnons. Neanderthals had early puberty development and early aging of the body. They lived on average only 22 years. In contrast to Neanderthals, Cro-Magnons are characterized by late puberty development and later aging of the body, and they lived more than 50 years, but also suffered from high mortality in harsh environment, dangerous environment. So the difference, nevertheless, the difference in longevity between Cro-Magnon people and Neanderthals can be explained by their diet. Okay, so now we are coming to what Cro-Magnon people were eating. So quite many evidence that Cro-Magnon people were hunting big animals, which were fatty, a lot of fat in mammoths and other big animals. Okay. Both Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons were capable of hunting individually and in groups, yet because of the different social structure, Cro-Magnons were often hunted in large groups because they were living in tribes, up to 100 persons, and they were cooperating together. So while some evidence suggests that Neanderthals primarily hunted with thrusting spears at close range, Cro-Magnon were particularly successful at driving large animals like mammoths and herds of large animals into traps or over cliffs. Large animals like mammoths and rhinos likely had a higher proportion of body fat compared to small animals. This is also quite normal. So the larger the animal, the more fat they have. So the Cro-Magnons were getting more energy from fat compared to Neanderthals, who were getting more energy from animal protein. Okay, large predators mostly get energy, like big cats get energy from digestion of protein, not from fat. If you have cats, you see that they don't like fat, but they like meat a lot. Ingested meat produce toxins in the colon of indigested meat produce toxins in the colon of predators. Again, this is pathogens work and they produce toxins. This is again just also depends on the gut transit time. So these toxins accumulate, ignite chronic inflammation, oxidative stress in the body, and eventually shorten lifespan of big predators. Okay, this was how again this like Neanderthals here go hunting. Okay, as I said, they mostly were hunting at night. All their bodies were very much adapted to hunting at night. Some small animals. But Cro-Magnon people were much more intelligent. They were using some very sophisticated methods of hunting, and they were able to kill mammoths, again, and use the skin and beavers to make housing. So they were very, very intelligent people with IQ. I believe that IQ would be more than 200, because average person cannot survive during the Stone Age or during the Ice Age. It is just impossible. It was so complicated, so dangerous environment. But Cro-Magnons managed. So as Cro-Magnons were getting most energy from animal fat, fewer toxins were produced and accumulated in their bodies compared to Neanderthals, and therefore, I believe, they lived longer. Digestion of food can be improved by various methods of cooking. While both Cro-Magnons and Neanderthals used fire for cooking, there is evidence suggesting that Cro-Magnons may have relied on it more extensively and were potentially benefiting more from it due to improved digestion of meat. Improved cooking could have been a significant significant advantage for Cro-Magnons. Some studies suggest that Neanderthals may have not mastered fire making to the same degree as Cro-Magnons and did not use the benefit of fire and cooking with fire. Also, Cro-Magnons lived in colder climate than Neanderthals, which might have led to greater reliance on fire for warmth and cooking. Okay, so this is okay. It is. As I said, they were not hunting for small animals. This is one. But whatever. Pardon. Okay, animal-sourced fat is important for our brain development. Fat consumption during the Ice Age helped Cro-Magnon people develop a large brain volume. When the Ice Age ended approximately 3,000 years ago, people invented agriculture and began cultivating grains. Grains continue to be primary energy source in our civilization. As a consequence of the shortage of vitamins and in animal fats in the diet, the human brain began to shrink. And with the introduction of processed food rich in carbohydrates and vegetable oils in the 70s, average IQ in developed nations have been continuously declining to 2.5 to 4.3 points every decade. People are getting more and more stupid on average. I do not deny that there are very smart people, but on average it is disaster what is happening. We are getting devolved. We see not evolution. In our life we see not evolution, we see devolution. People are getting more and more common, similar to monkeys. I believe that consumption of animal fat as a main source of energy from early childhood can help to develop higher human mental, can reduce human mental degradation, improve the health of the elderly people, and significantly increase lifespan. Okay. When this ice age stopped and people started to grow grains, first they were using fire and then put grains in the ash from fire, and then grain was growing, and a lot of grain was produced with this easy method of agriculture. Eventually, when area of forests shrinked, they started more sophisticated agriculture, but yet again, till now, people rely on grains, and this is not good at all. So this is how brain developed. This show it is development of the brain size, and now it is shrinking. So it is time ago. So it is to now it is shrinking, and quite a lot of shrinking. Size of the brain is shrinking. So and mental capacities, IQ also shrinking. You see, this is from recently, from in second half of this 20th century, it is dropping a lot, and to now it is dropped about 15 points of average IQ. It's not only because degradation of the brain, but also mutations in humans happen, and these mutations go with the change of the brain and change in the intellectual abilities. In past, life was so hard that only the smartest Cro-Magnon people were surviving. But in our civilization, with this highly developed medical care, and then almost mortality of infants is very low, everybody survive, and then, but again, the mutants, number of mutants in the population is growing, and now it is more than 15%. And if you may refer to my some videos about experiment Universe 25 about mice, and we are coming to collapse. Our civilization coming to collapse if we will continue such way. We will collapse and extinct as biological species. So now we have, if we are intelligent beings, we have to do something with it. Okay. So modern humans do not have Neanderthals Y chromosomes and Neanderthals mitochondria in our cells, but most likely inherited some genes from Neanderthals. Again, if we don't have mitochondria, then it means only female of Cro-Magnons were raped by Neanderthals and produced these hybrids, not vice versa. Not vice versa, unfortunately. Okay, I mean, and also boys from these hybrids didn't survive somehow. The number of genes from Neanderthals varies between human individuals. The individual presence of or absence of some important genes obtained from Neanderthals is in particular indicated by the rhesus factor. Rhesus factor, you know, this it is related to rhesus monkey. Blood and so rhesus factor of the blood and blood type. A negative rhesus factor means the blood different from blood of monkey, indicates the absence of specific genes from primates. So again, negative means no genes from this monkey. Next, all chimpanzees have type A blood and gorilla have type B blood, and Cro-Magnons had O type blood, also important, okay? Neanderthals were carrying gene that prevents the digestion of milk, lactose in old age, but for people with Cro-Magnon people, they have ability to digest milk into adulthood this, such as Europeans and but East Asians are more intolerant to lactose. So I can drink milk and I rely on milk. I consume a lot of dairy products, but I'm absolutely fine with this, and my relatives also. But if among Asian people, it is not so. Okay, RH rhesus factor is such that the surface of the red blood cells is smooth, has no these proteins, and because they have no proteins, again, it is good for immune function, for immunity. So such people are mostly immune to viral infections. But problem with interbreeding, problem is that if a female with rhesus negative blood have husband with rhesus positive blood, then such a female can produce only one child healthy. And the second child will kill the woman and the child will be killed by immune system of the female, because immune system recognizes the different blood, and child always get rhesus positive. Rhesus positive blood. Rhesus positive is dominant trait, and rhesus negative is suppressed in such a marriage. In my sister, for example, she has type B, minus B, and she had a lot of problems to get a second child. First child was easy, but second was big problem. Even if her husband was mixture of blood. So he was rhesus positive, but actually had rhesus negative chromosomes also. So when gamete spermatozoid appears, half of the spermatozoids they have rhesus negative gene and half rhesus positive, but again it was good chance that she got second baby. There was, but always there was big problem. And this is why in royals mostly, in nobilities in Europe and royals, they have mostly rhesus negative blood, and then in them it was big problem that if female married rhesus positive man, then she cannot survive, she cannot produce babies, and more than one baby, and this was big problem. This how people discovered that they have to avoid marriage with rhesus positive people, and this is why rhesus negative blood is more common in Europe. Also, it is more common because harsh environment and a lot of infections, viral infections in Europe, were always working to select more healthy babies, and then rhesus negative blood was not suppressed, but actually it has some percentage in the population. As for me, I am O negative, so-called universal donor. So there is a little known fact that humans with Rh negative, rhesus negative bloodline on average live longer than ones with rhesus positive blood and can digest milk well into old age, like me. Also, in difference to Neanderthals, Denisovans, and other primates, almost all present-day humans carry a serine to glycine amino acid substitution in the gene of a critical enzyme, so-called glutathione reductase. This can be mutation. So if substitution of serine to glycine can be mutation, so I would not deny. But again, the human version of the enzyme reduces oxidative stress and may contribute to reduce chronic inflammation in old age and greater longevity. The surface of red blood cells in individuals with O negative blood, like me, and is smooth compared to the blood, and then also what else? The blood of such humans have more alkaline reaction. So then it is explained why such people with O negative blood or just rhesus negative blood are more resistant to viral infections. Some studies suggested potential link between O negative blood type and reduced risk of viral infection. Again, this is already scientific fact. So the glutathione reductase, it helps to reduce oxidative stress with production of glutathione in the cells of our body. So it reduces oxidative stress. Animals of different species cannot usually interbreed and produce fertile offspring. For example, horses have 64, while donkeys have 62 chromosomes. A mule is the offspring of a donkey, stallion, and mare for female horses. And hinny is formed by a male horse and female donkey. And mules and hinnies both have 63 chromosomes and normally infertile. However, there have been about 60 recorded anecdotal cases of fertile female mules since 16th century. And also interesting that Przewalski horse has 66 chromosomes. Nevertheless, there are 65 chromosome hybrids of horses, normal horses, and Przewalski horses are fertile. On the contrary, tigers and lions both have 38 chromosomes. And may produce viable hybrid offspring, and these female hybrids completely fertile, male hybrids on the other side sterile. Neanderthals had 48 chromosomes like apes, and Cro-Magnon people had 46 chromosomes, as okay, I mentioned already. Okay, this is hinny. And mule was very common in ancient civilization because they are very, very strong, and they have high endurance, and they were much used to carry some loads. And again, the examples of hybrid mammals, the tiger and between lion male and tiger female, and tiger male and lion female. Okay, they can be fertile. There are two kinds of cell division: mitosis and meiosis. So you can go to this molecular and cell biology deeper. And mitosis produces two genetically identical daughter cells from a single parent cells. This is normal multiplication of the cells in our body. This is, again, mitosis is responsible for growth and replacement of the dead cells. And meiosis produces cells that are genetically unique from parents, different from parents, and contain only half as much DNA. This is gametes. Gametes, I mean, eggs and spermatozoids. During the meiosis cell cycle, infertile hybrids, genes from two different species are swapped. The result is a hybrid chromosome with unique combination of genes in gametes, ensuring that genetic information from hybrid parents is combined. This swapping or crossing over happens when chromosomes pair up and form chiasmata, visible portions of the chromosomes exchange. So the exchange of chromosome segments are also known as crossing over. The gametes are sperm and egg produced during meiosis. They fuse during fermentation to create new individual with completely special set of chromosomes. Okay, this is mitosis produces genetically identical cells. Meiosis produces hybrid cells when the DNA information mixed from one parent and with another parent. So this why children of humans and other animals are not exactly copies of the parents, but they have individual properties. Genetics don't directly define longevity. The diet and lifestyle do. This is again my opinion. Mostly science accept that genes in our body define that our longevity cannot be longer than 120 years. This is nonsense. Okay, this science shows us that it is nonsense. Diet and lifestyle define longevity. If an animal consumes food with toxins, or toxins are produced in the gastrointestinal tract from food, the toxins may accumulate and ignite a chain of devastating consequences such as chronic hypoxia, inflammation, stiffening of blood vessels and tissues, accumulation of senescent and cancer cells, etc., and accelerated aging. In social insect, a queen receives foods which are purified from toxins. And the queen's life may be 20-40 times longer than that of working members of the colony with the same genetics. The same genetics, different food. So, what evidence do you need that we can live much longer, 20-40 times longer, without change of genetics, just changing our diet? Also, next, microbats live 20-40 times longer than mice and rats in the wild because they use fats as the main in flying insects as the main source of energy, and they have short gastrointestinal transit time to suppress production of toxins by pathogens. Consumption of raw starch, which are prebiotic, helps naked rats and blind rats to live longer. Okay, so you have this is how ant queen, it is getting lymph from larva, from pupa, from larva. It is sucking this lymph, and lymph is rich with amino acids, fatty acids, and also some vitamins. And then larva already, it's again larva is adapted to this. So when queen or even workers suck lymph from larva, they don't kill larva. They just larva is supplying food for this insects, and especially for queen and other royals, male royals. Okay, then this slide you can see dependence of gut transit time, and then also in different species. Okay. So flying birds have very short transit time, and also, you know, flying birds mostly live long. Yeah, it's like papagayi and it's parrots and other birds live quite long. Why? Because they have short gut transit time, and they don't produce much of these toxins in their gut. Bats you see also have very short gut transit time, mostly about 1 hour, but some species have even shorter gut transit time. Here at this slide we have gut transit time for different species of microbat and macrobat, and some species have 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Some, it is actually not microbats, it is macrobats have very short gut transit time. And they live quite long, also 15 years for macrobats and 40 years for microbats. So short gut transit time is essential to live longer. So we may mimic the diet of ant queens and consume amino acids, fatty acids, and the ester of these acids. So I was explaining it already. You can read in more details in presentation and watch video. Prebiotics, foods for friendly bacteria in the colon, such as raw potato starch and mushrooms, help to improve the integrity of epithelium layer in the colon and endothelium layer in blood and lymph vessels. This is again short, because fermentation of this raw potato starch and mushrooms produces short-chain fatty acids, and short-chain fatty acids can be used. They not only change acidity in the gut, but they also are used as a source of energy for cells, in epithelium cells especially, and they help to keep integrity of the epithelium layer and keep health. The toxins are not penetrate to the blood. So we can do this. We can follow the diet of unqueens. Also, we may mimic the diet and lifestyle of microbats, consuming animal fats and proteins, yes, but shorten the gut transit time by intense aerobic exercise and intake of mild laxatives such as salts of magnesium and megadose of ascorbic acid. This is what I was explaining in my video and the presentation. Again, so we can follow nature. This just is relatively easy. You cannot fly, but you can go for a few hours of aerobic exercise, and it will help to clean your gut from all these pathogens. The intake of glutamate with foods is critical to remove ammonia produced by pathogens in the gut, in the lumen of the gut, and by burning proteins. It also produced in muscles. In muscles, during intense exercise, some muscle cells are damaged, and macrophages are coming. Macrophages consume these dead cells, and they produce from protein in these cells, they produce ammonia. And ammonia, first it is working as signal for stem cells in the muscles to start growing, but also you have to remove this ammonia. It is toxic. So and then muscles have a lot of glutamate, and glutamate reacts with ammonia, and ammonia go to the reacts with ammonia. The product of the reaction, glutamine. Glutamate turns V plus ammonia gets to glutamine. Glutamine gets to blood, and then blood go to liver. And in the liver, again, it is split to glutamate and ammonia. Ammonia is converted to urea, and urea removed by kidneys from our body. So detoxing of our body from ammonia is very important. So, okay, then also I was mentioned that doxycycline and doxycycline and minocycline in small doses help to suppress pathogens in the colon, but also they somehow have miracle action, which probably goes itself. It is suppressing some enzymes in our bodies, enzymes which are breaking elastin fibers. So, and then it is some people who take minocycline and doxycycline in small doses for years and years, they look younger because they have less this inflammation in their body. Okay, also exercise, what is important? If you go to aerobic exercise, it is ortho beta, so you have better health, and but if you go to gym and work long for resistant exercise, I was doing it 2 years ago. I was going to gym and working hard with the resistant exercise, and I discovered that my aging accelerated. So I gave up. I started to do more this aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise are absolutely necessary. It is to shorten the gut transit time. It is to supply blood. Blood circulation improves during the aerobic exercise, and you need a lot exercise. It's at least 2-3 hours a day, maybe with some days of rest, but yet you need a lot of activity, physical activity. Guinea pigs, humans, and primates cannot produce vitamin C from glucose in their bodies. Vitamin C supplements of only 500 milligram increased longevity in men by almost 6 years, and somewhat less improvement in women. It's a lot, half gram every day, 6 years of longevity additional. It's a lot. Linus Pauling proposed intakes of ascorbic acid up to 20 gram daily to avoid the development of cardiovascular diseases and cure viral infections. So he passed away at 93 from cancer. Why? Because he was on vegetarian diet and we used carbohydrates as a source of energy. And carbohydrates are a source of energy for cancer cells. So it's nonsense. I know why he he was following advice of his medical doctor, I cannot understand. I don't trust medical professionals at all, zero. Because medical care, it is business. Every healthy person is one customer lost for medical professionals. Okay, so I am healthy, and if I never use help of medical professionals, and I would not recommend you. But again, this is up to you. Every people are zombified to follow medical advice and to follow diets which are full with these fibers, cellulose fibers, because cellulose fibers, they are supposed to improve your health. It is nothing of the kind, absolutely different, absolutely wrong. But people, medical professionals, don't read scientific publications. They just have this business model, how to make people sick and keep them sick, addicted to medications which don't cure this sickness but reduce symptoms of suffering. Dr. Abraham Hofer, he lived 94 years, proposed the intake of megadoses, and he used it, megadoses of nicotinic acid to block lipolysis for a few hours and help to ignite autophagy. Again, autophagy is very important, and you can use nicotinic acid before night or before intense exercise, but this exercise has to be more than 3 hours long. Dr. Andrew Sowell have been taken ascorbic acid and nicotinic acid in megadoses, and he has a lot of books. He was very productive to write books, and he was using these supplements for 20 years, but he passed away in 69 actually. Dr. Pauling and Dr. Sowell have been following vegetarian diet, and especially Dr. Sowell promoted the juicing of fruits and vegetables for health. I cannot understand it. Again, he is a doctor. He is supposed to be smart. Why he didn't use his mental abilities to learn from nature, this I cannot understand. Again, I have huge respect to Dr. Linus Pauling. He made the revolution in quantum chemistry, but why he followed recommendation of medical professional, I don't know. Okay, so this Linus Pauling and Andrew Sowell, age of 69, and actually, if you watch his videos, he does not look so good. But nevertheless, he was not bad. It shows that consumption of ascorbic acid and nicotinic acid helps. But will it extend your longevity or not? This is another question. This is Abraham Hofer with nicotinic acid. And you know that, again, you cannot follow a vegetarian diet. You cannot stay on use of carbohydrates as a source of energy. Because cancer cells and all cells infected by viruses, they rely on production of energy in this fermentation of glucose in the cells. This is not efficient way to produce energy, but they rely on it and they consume a lot of glucose. They need glucose. So if you have high level of glucose in the blood, then you are prone to all this infection disease and also to cancer development. So mega doses of vitamin C, they block in part at least, they block transfer of glucose into this hyperactive cells. They also increase oxidative stress in such cells. And then it helps to kill infected cells, senescent cells, and cancer cells. It helps, but again, you cannot stay on carbohydrates. This is true. Okay, this also how nicotinic acid works. It is blocking lipolysis. Lipolysis is production of free fatty acids in fat tissue. And free fatty acids are supposed to go to the liver, and then liver produces this low-density lipoprotein and other lipoproteins to transfer this fatty acids through the bloodstream to all living cells, which will use fatty acids as source of energy. So it is, but niacin or nicotinic acid blocks lipolysis for few hours, about 2.5 or 2.5 hours, maximum 3 hours. It depends on the dose. So you can block lipolysis, and then your body will run out if you do it before intense aerobic exercise. Your body will run out of glucose and also the storage of glycine. Oh, pardon, of the glucose in the muscles and the liver. And then it will ignite autophagy because your body will be with no energy source. So lipolysis is blocked, so cells cannot use fatty acids as source of energy. Glucose is level drops a lot, and then what they start autophagy, they start production of energy from proteins, from some broken proteins, damaged organelles in the cell, so it ignites autophagy. But you need at least 3 hours of exercise. Some people do even 5 hours exercise with mega doses of niacin. So neither ascorbic acid, no nicotinic acid, no other supplement may allow living longer on vegetarian diet or standard diet. So if you're on recommended diet, forget about to live long. All the people need to maintain ketosis and consume animal protein or amino acids for better health. The healthiest animal fat is butter, while whey protein powder is the healthiest protein. Why? Because whey protein powder is soluble in water and easy to digest. This is the best protein, but also you can add amino acids. Hong Kong has the highest life expectancy in the world. Again, not people in these so-called zones, blue zones, yeah. It is. I have a video about this. This is a complete scam. There is no people in who stay on vegetarian diet never live long. Never. It is all scam. It is not true. But Hong Kong people, they consume a lot of meat, more than 660 grams a day per person. It's a lot. Imagine every day you consume 660 grams of meat. I was in Hong Kong. I tell you, there is no obesity in the population, and people are quite active, and they do consume a lot of chicken and a lot of other meat and fatty meat. They like pork, so and they live long. They live on average almost 85 years, on average. So, but why? Okay, what is interesting? They also consume a lot of monosodium glutamate, because it is very common for Chinese people to use monosodium glutamate. It is cheap as dirt, and it improves health or improves taste of the food, especially if it is meat, cooked meat. I used myself a lot of monosodium glutamate. But for comparison, the life expectancy of Maasai people who are following strict carnivore diet, which is again highly promoted on internet, or follow strict carnivore diet, but they follow without monosodium glutamate, and their longevity is only 45 to 60 years. So, but however, this YouTube influencers and medical professionals recommend, so medical professionals recommend a restriction of meat consumption and consumption of avoid monosodium glutamate and promoting diets rich in seed oils, whole grains, vegetables, fruits and legumes. Again. So my personal experience and my qualification as scientist to ability to think tells me that it is absolutely completely wrong. You cannot live long on recommended diet. Also, monosodium glutamate is so important. If you follow a carnivore diet, at least the minimum what you can do it is to substitute salt table salt with monosodium glutamate, and up to 45 grams of monosodium glutamate per day you can consume. Okay, I don't consume so much, but maybe 20 grams per day. But again, it is very, very useful, very helpful for your health to consume monosodium glutamate. Okay, as I said that I was in Hong Kong too, and it's very crowded place. People live in terrible conditions actually. I mean, it is not dirty, but they have very small living space. Yet they consume a lot of meat, and they are very active. There is no obesity in these people. So make conclusion yourself. So if you travel to Hong Kong, if you don't trust me, travel to Hong Kong. Look how these people live, even in in conditions that they cannot go to aerobic exercise. There is no place for aerobic exercise, but they consume meat with monosodium glutamate. Already this makes them healthier and makes them live longer. Okay, this meat consumption in Hong Kong is the highest, but in contrast to Hong Kong people, Maasai people, they also eat only meat and blood and milk, no fruits, no vegetables, okay? And they live only 60 years. Make some conclusion. If you follow carnivore diet, which is highly promoted, a lot of young people recommend strict carnivore diet. It's true, it's better than vegetarianism, much better, but yet it is not way to live long. Neanderthal people who consumed lean meat, especially lean meat from small animals, and were eating raw meat. Some YouTube influencers recommend eating raw meat or raw liver. Liver is very rich in vitamins, but again, you eat raw meat, it is not digested enough. Cooking can help digestion of meat, like sous vide technique of cooking. It helps a lot. I do it, I use it, but also you need prebiotics. Okay, all the people with long history of following the recommended diets have to detox their body from accumulated toxins, oxidized seed oils, waste products of metabolism, oxalates, senescent and cancer cells, and advanced glycation end products. This would be necessary, because again, the sooner you will follow my recommendation in young age, the better. But again, if you was already following this recommended diet and you didn't care about what do you eat, and so then you eventually in old age you have problems. Pardon. Tom Cruise is promoting the detox program, which is purification rundown, that includes a long session in steam saunas with mega doses of niacin and absorbents. It works. It works. You can look at him, it works. But not enough. You need more. Those people who cannot afford, this is very expensive in California, it's purification rundown program is more than 10,000 American dollars. It is lasting 40 days, 40 sessions in sauna. And some people cannot afford it because of time, because of price. But you can, okay, those people who cannot afford it may use mega doses of nicotinic acid before intense aerobic exercise that are longer than 3 hours. Also, good way for detoxing. You are sweating, so toxins are getting out from your body through skin, and also nicotinic acid ignite production of bile acid. Bile is removes toxins from our body, and also aerobic exercise shorten the gut transit time, so all this bile acid take toxins and they are not absorbed in the colon in blood, but they are removed, so it is again very, very healthy to do it. So if you cannot afford sauna, then do this long aerobic exercise. To remove lipofuscin, atherosclerotic plaques, and other waste products, people can use microbial enzymes. You can see my videos and presentation. I have a number of videos about this. And I tried successfully This on myself, it worked absolutely fantastic, and I tried to get funds for clinical trials of enzymes because again it helps so much, and the hypertension and heart diseases are very common reason why people die in Western countries. So I was thinking, okay, people should be interested, but I didn't get enough funds, and also my private life circumstances and COVID restrictions to sell and to send my remedies and elsewhere made me so that I use it, but some people will also tried it. Okay, this is how Vietnamese soldiers were using this purification rundown program for detoxing their body. I don't know many details about this, but at least it is good for detoxing any toxins. Nowadays, many amino acids are produced by microbial fermentation of carbohydrates on an industrial scale to be used as animal feed. Compared to the production cost of animal protein, such amino acids are much cheaper. A part of any animal protein can be replaced by amino acids in the diet of all the people. This is what I started to use recently, not so long ago, and good idea. You can grow muscles with whey protein and with amino acids. Amino acids are very much in use among bodybuilders. If you want to grow muscles, you cannot do it without amino acids. A water solution of monosodium glutamate can improve elasticity of skin and growth of hair if applied topically. I do it almost every day before night. So apply water solution of monosodium glutamate. I think it grows better. But and thicker, and hairs getting thicker because it improves blood circulation in the skin. The consumption of citric, lactic, and malic acid can offer various health benefits. Okay, lemon juice, lactic acid from fermented dairy product. Malic acid, I take it as chemical and make drinks with malic acid. Not acetic acid, guys. Many people use acetic acid. Acetic acid is not toxic, but trust me, that's it. Buy malic acid, citric acid. Citric acid is everywhere. You don't like citric acid which is produced by fermentation, okay, you go buy lemon juice. So these acids play important roles in energy production, mineral absorption in your gut. They can also detox your body from oxalates, very important. This acid produced industrially, as I said, mostly by fermentation, and they are not expensive. Okay, then in large amounts, they produce in large amounts, but also amino acids produced a lot. It is lysine, glutamate, and other acids like glycine, so cheap. The price depends on purity. If you buy purified version of the amino acids, are a little bit more expensive. But glycine, for example, is below $3 per kilo. Lysine depends on purity, or if it is good quality, not bad, good, but not 99% purified, but okay, it is the same price, $3 per kilo. But again, if it is not purified, it has only some bacterial protein inside, as some which can be removed. But removal of this protein takes a lot of efforts, and price will be much different. So the same about glutamate. Some people recommend glutamine. Don't do it. Okay, glutamate is produced and very cheap. Glutamate produces huge amount, and it is glutamate I buy again cheaper than $3 per kilo. It is maybe $2 per kilo. It is so dirty cheap, and I replace all table salt with glutamate. monosodium glutamate, and I use calcium chloride because you need chlorine. Chlorine you need for your body to produce gastric acid in your stomach, and you need chlorine. So you can add magnesium chloride or better this potassium chloride. Potassium chloride more than table salt, more than 15 grams a day. And it only improves. If you use it for cooking, the dishes are even better, getting even better. Okay, so Neanderthals, okay, just some conclusions. Okay, Neanderthals were eating mostly raw meat and lived about 22 years. Okay, some people, some influencers promote eating raw meat, raw liver or raw meat. I know this young people, like below 40 years, and they eat raw meat, and they completely what I recommend, and it is so much different from what they recommend. I love meat. I love meat. I love fatty meat. I love smoked pork, but again, if I do it, I take care that to shorten my gut transit time. So I eat it, yes, but I know that it is not all protein will be digested. I have to remove the residues as quick as possible with ascorbic acid, with magnesium salts, with exercises, and also with these prebiotics also help to shorten gut transit time. Okay, in the wild, the lions typically live for 10 or 14 years, and tigers live for 10 for 15 years. Again, why? We may attribute the short lifespan of the large predators to the accumulation of toxins produced in the gastrointestinal tract from undigested meat, undigested protein. Right. So try to think, okay? Try to think. In contrast to Neanderthals, Cro-Magnon people used animal fat as main source of energy. They were killing very large animals, like mammoths. Mammoths is a lot of fat. They used fat as main source of energy, and they live already with this replacement. If you stay on ketosis, not only just carnivore diet, but you consume a lot of fat, animal fat like butter, you will live longer already with this diet. Maasai people in Kenya follow a strict carnivore diet, and they have life expectancy from 45 to 60 years. Again, just one more indication that detoxing is necessary. They are very tall, very good looking people in younger age, but they don't live very long. So think. Yeah? In contrast to Maasai people in Hong Kong consume about 600 grams of meat daily. It is even more than Maasai people, but they use it with monosodium glutamate, and their life expectancy on average is longer than 42.5 years, men and women, even in growth. Despite they have no space for aerobic exercises, they have very, the life conditions are not so healthy, I would say. Try to go to see this Hong Kong people, but yet it helps. Monosodium glutamate helps. So, and monosodium glutamate helps to detox the gut lumen from ammonia and to improve the health of epithelium layer in the colon. Microbes use fat from flying insects as the main source of energy. Again, indications that fat should be main source of energy, but also you need protein. And they have short gastrointestinal gut transit time. And despite all consumed protein not being digested, the production of toxins by pathogens in their guts is suppressed because of short gut transit time. And microbes live 20 times longer than mice and rats in the wild. You see, short gut transit time is absolutely critical. You can consume meat, you can consume fatty meat, better. Yeah? Fatty meat is better, but yet again, make something like aerobic exercise. Take mega doses of ascorbic acid, mega doses of magnesium salts, even lactose can work as mild laxative to shorten your gut transit time. Also, blind mole rats and naked mole rats rely on consumption of raw starch from tubers and roots and live longer than 30 years compared to mice and rats. Yeah, again, consumption of prebiotics is changing. Fermentation of the starch produces short-chain fatty acid that suppress activity of pathogens in the gut because acidity is different. If you have pathogens have produce ammonia, and then you have alkaline reaction in the lumen of the gut. Fermentation of the starch produces short-chain fatty acids, including especially butyric acid, but also acetic acid they produce. And this, because of this, you have acidity in the gut, and in acidic conditions, peristalsis of the gut is amplified, and then you have short gut transit time. So it also helps, okay? So 100 grams of raw starch minimum a day. Better if you can consume mushrooms, even better. But mushrooms, little bit more. I was growing mushrooms myself, and they were delicious. Now I buy on market, but they are so big, and they are already not so delicious as I used to grow. So maybe I have to recover this my activity and grow mushrooms. It is easy. It is so easy. And again, if you grow it yourself, the price you pay maybe the same price for mushrooms as for meat at our market, but the quality of these mushrooms is so-so. But you can grow it yourself even at your apartment. But you need some box isolated because you need humidity inside the box to grow mushrooms. But you can organize. I did it in large scale. I was producing almost 3 kilos of mushrooms a day, and was eating a lot myself and giving the rest to relatives of my wife, and so every wife was absolutely perfect. And also I was keeping birds like chicken, geese, ducks for meat and eggs production. And they were free range. They were running in the garden. Some mesh was around, so to restrict them from getting to the road and to the forest. But they were quite happy. A lot of insects. They were eating a lot of insects, the sun, and I was feeding them with germinated grain. They were very happy, and I was very healthy and happy also that time. Now it is a bit different, but I try my best, okay? And so we can learn from nature that in condition of shorter gut transit time and consuming of prebiotics in larger amounts, production of toxins would be suppressed. And again, also with shorter gut transit time because of these laxatives, we may live longer. Yeah, and this is no need in expensive supplements and procedures. Even ascorbic acid is cheap. I mean, 10 American dollars per kilo. And you need maybe 20 grams per day. It is affordable, guys, it's affordable. But don't try to get ascorbic acid from fruits. My sister, I cannot convince my sister in it. She said, oh, this, I get ascorbic acid from fruits, from kiwi. I said, do you know what is kiwi? Why kiwi is acidic? It is not have ascorbic acid. It has oxalic acid. Oxalic acid is toxic. So you consume a lot of oxalates instead of ascorbic acid. But I cannot convince you to take 20 grams of vitamin C, or I mean ascorbic acid. It's impossible. My mother is the same. I take, again, I understand it. I did all this research. I did it for myself, and I try to follow my own recommendations. It works. It works for me. I have good endurance and sleep well, and maybe improve my life in future even more. There are some problems in Thailand, but not much. Not much. Climate is good. Climate is good. So the main goal of my project is to propose diets and lifestyle that even poor people in developing countries such as Thailand can follow to live much longer and more productive lives. My recommendations are based on scientific publications and observations, but in some aspects are much different from recommendations of medical professionals. Okay, I am scientist, I am not medical doctor, I am not getting any profit from making people sick and addicted to medicine. No. The less I follow medical recommendations, the better. I made a big mistake October of last year to make vaccine, this rabies, against rabies, and it was devastating. The impact of this vaccine was devastating. I am not recovered till now from this vaccine. So to myself, I was thinking traditional vaccines are not so toxic as COVID vaccines. COVID vaccines, I decided, oh, I never will take it. I never will take it. But even traditional vaccine appears that it ignites some reaction, inflammation in the body, and because of this inflammation, blood pressure go up. My blood pressure went, the pulse pressure, it is different between systolic and diastolic pressure, went above 50, even 55, a week after this injections. And then slowly it is dropping, but from October now already August, and it is, I have 45 pulse pressure, and I used to have 37, even less. The less is the pulse pressure, the better your cardiovascular system works. Unfortunately, till now, this virus yet, even if it is weak virus, it is, I cannot remove it. I cannot remove it. My immune system needs time. I have very strong immune system. For example, I was getting this papilloma virus from my girlfriends, and but all the warts disappeared over time because my immune system keeps the virus suppressed. But if I get these infections every day from physical contact or with girls, with infected girls, then I get these warts on my fingers, on skin, and but if I break with these girls, or they actually break with me, and I stay myself, then over time all the warts disappear. So my system works, but immune system works, but I need time. So I need time, maybe again a year, or but it terrifies me. Even classic, even traditional vaccines make devastating impact. And now kids are getting so many vaccines to age of 2. They're getting almost 60 different vaccines. And these vaccines never help. We live long and we have low rate of this infection diseases because of better hygiene, because of this better lifestyle, better food. But vaccines are promoted as some holy treatment to improve health. Okay, up to you, up to you. I would never follow medical advice. Never. Okay, and again, but who will follow my advice? How many people will follow my findings? I don't know. I don't know. We will see. For now, not many. Not many. Should I be sad? No. I don't make any money. So some people were supporting my project. Some people are yet ready to send me some money, and they do it. They follow my findings. But again, not many, because some of my friends tell me, oh, I will believe you if you will live longer than 130 years. I have no doubt that I will live 130 years, or even maybe 300 years. But these friends, I'm sorry about them, they will not do it. Because why? Because some friends, I have a millionaire in America who is a very successful person, and I tried to save his life, to improve his life, his health. And he's following vegetarian diet because it is much promoted. Some red light therapy and injections of plasma, blah, 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 stem cell therapy. Best luck. guys. It never works. It never works. But I propose something simple, very simple. And nature gives us proving that nature is proving that we can live 1,000 years, maybe longer, maybe forever. Okay, this is what happens normally. They say, oh, it is natural. It is natural to be sick and to lose mobility, and it is not natural. Okay, yes. It is not natural. Okay, you can go to the source of information. Especially, I recommend this the books of Pauling, Abraham Hofer, Andrew Soule has a lot of books. But again, mind that the vegetarian diet is not healthy. Okay, thank you for your time. As always, I recommend you to follow recommendations of medical professionals, not my recommendations, because I'm not supposed to give you medical advice. I do it for myself. I do it. I already 25 years, I never sick, because I never go to doctors. I don't take medical insurance. Some people take medical insurance and they are boasting in that, oh, we got very cheap medical insurance, and I do so expensive treatments, and I do so expensive surgical operations to replace joints in my fingers, even fingers, not to tell other joints, with metal and plastic. And this is very expensive treatment, and my medical insurance covers all these expenses. Just look at them. Wow, so much suffering. For what? For what? To show that you can be a robot? Replace your brain with some computer then, if you cannot think for yourself. Okay, guys. So thank you for your time. It was a long video, and I hope you watched it to the end. If you did it, please at least support my channel by clicking on like and bell button, subscribe to my channel. Try to, if you don't trust me, it is up to you. This I will talk in other videos about absolutely dreadful, absolutely very bad situation in our society. We are going to the end times. It will be disaster. Disaster is coming. The introduction of artificial intelligence and the special election of President Trump, it gives me a hope that we will survive. At least some people will survive, but how much? I don't know. And I mean, survive and reproduce. But we don't have any. There will be no depopulation, overpopulation. Depopulation is going very well in some countries. Again, what is happening also, the radical drop in IQ. More and more people who cannot work, who cannot, without education and without any ability to do some sophisticated job, they are coming to Europe, they are coming to United States, because the governments of these countries, of the Western countries, they provide free medicine, free food, free accommodation, much better than locals, much better. These migrants live much better than locals and not contribute to society at all, zero. This I will tell the invasion, and this is a collapse. It is the same like Roman Empire collapsed. In Roman Empire it was not so bad, because at least there was no social support to these barbarians who were getting to Rome and to Roman Empire. Now all the immigration is supported, promoted, and all the smart people are suppressed. If I try to, in social media, express my opinion, I'm on fire. I mean, people try to, my channels in LinkedIn and the other social networks were stopped. I tried to put, even on TikTok, I tried to make some small proposals, and my channel is blocked on TikTok. Okay, guys. So again, I did this research for myself, because I want to live long enough to see the better time of civilization. I believe that we have this purpose to populate all the visible universe. The universe is created for us, for humans. We are special. We are special. I will talk about this later. Okay, follow my channel if you want to know this. Okay, thank you for your time. Bye bye. Have a good day.